All right, hello everybody and welcome. And as you can see, today I'm going to be talking about recovery gear and emergency gear. Now this video is meant to be kind of a follow-up video to a video I made late last year following my White Mountain special. I sat down and kind of talked about, the things about doing a solo trip and the gear that I always carry and some of the gear that I wish I had. And luckily for Christmas this year, my family got me some new gear. So what I'm going to do today is run through very quickly the gear that's always with me, as well as the new gear. That way you guys can know exactly what I carry with me. And again, this is not a complete collection. It's still expanding and growing, but the way it sits right now, I feel pretty confident and comfortable with what I have. So let's start with the crate. This is kind of the vehicle emergency gear. So inside of it, I got the battery jump box. And what this does is allow me to basically jump myself if I ever have a dead battery. And I've used this many times. It's one of those things that is really invaluable. I do have the second battery set up, so I guess if I really was in a pinch, I could take that battery up front and use that to start my vehicle. But this is just so much easier. You plug it in for a couple minutes, start your vehicle right up. Also in here are extra fluids. So got extra coolant in case I need it. I've got some extra oil just in case, the Jeep burns a little bit of oil just because it's a little bit older. So I carry a couple of quarts of backup oil. And then this was my tire patch kit. This rinky-dinky little thing was, it's from Harbor Freight. So it's one of the things that actually got upgraded. So I always had this with me. And then I just have some extra tie downs and zip ties and different rags and whatnot, straps, just in case I need to strap something up or tie something down if something falls off. That's all there, hopefully, in case I need it. Now, I also carry a fire extinguisher with me all the time. I've seen videos of people's Jeeps going up in flames, and this is just a great thing to have around camp. You're cooking, if you have a kitchen fire or anything, vehicle fire, this will hopefully help out a little bit, maybe get that stopped. That's something I always carry as well. In addition, some other vehicle recovery stuff. You can see the traction pads down there. I have yet to actually use those in an actual recovery, but one of those things that is helpful to have. It's helpful for leveling the Jeep with a 10 on there, and you never know, it may come in handy sometime down the road in some mud or snow or whatever. In addition, there are some extra things in the vehicle that are permanently in there. I've got my air compressor, I've got my winch that we just installed up front. That is a nice thing to have. And of course, under the seats, I have a pair of jumper cables. I have some jack stuff, some tire changing stuff. And that stuff hasn't changed. It does work. And I do have two different sockets to get my spare off and then get my lugs off the main wheels. Those are two different sizes. So I have both under there. But that's stuff you guys already know about. I've used it before. Getting on to some kind of first aid gear and some medical gear. I always carry a first aid kit. I've had to dip into this a couple of times before. Just a basic kit. It's got some different bandages, ointments, medicines, stuff like that. Keep that stocked up from the supply at home. And then I also carry some medical tape. Got some gauze, got some nice tape. If there's any kind of more severe injury, if we need to wrap something up, so on and so forth. I also carry some emergency fire starting stuff, and this is basically just lint from my house. If I ever really needed to get a fire started quick, this stuff lights right up, and I have a pretty good supply of that. In addition, I also have an emergency fire starter that, will get a spark onto lint or onto some kind of tinder in a fire. I've got some waterproof matches up here. I also make it a point to carry several different types of lighters with me, just for lighting the stove and lighting the fire and whatnot. And then up here in front, we've got, just some odds and ends, stuff that probably won't ever need, but just in case. Got some hand warmers, got an emergency blanket, and that is that. So that's kind of the medical side of it. Moving on to food, you can see the MRE here. Make it a point to always try and carry at least a couple MREs, as well as some backup food. Just some canned goods, stuff that's really easy to eat. Actually, no prep needed. So I carry, depends on how many people are with me. If it's me and my cousin, I try to carry a little bit more food, maybe enough for 1 to 2 days, just in case something goes wrong. So I have that with me always, just in case. And you never know when that kind of stuff is going to come in handy. Sometimes they're good for lunch, sometimes it's good for a quick dinner, but I always try to carry the extra kind of 1 to 2 days of food. That way, if the Jeep breaks down, or if I get lost or I get stuck somewhere, I have a little bit of food to get me by until I can get to help, or help can get to me. Also, up front there, you can see the jug of water. I can't stress that enough. I always carry that jug and then an additional 1 to 2 gallons per person per day. So this is just a quick trip. I'm not out here for a long time, so I've got that, a couple more gallons inside, but this is used for stuff like camp cleaning and putting out the fire, and it could, in a pinch, be used as emergency drinking water. So the more water you have, the better. It's always good to have extra. I'd rather have way too much than not enough. So moving on to the new stuff, you can see this pile here. This was all stuff I got for Christmas a little over a month ago, and it's stuff that my family got me, and it's stuff that I wanted, just to kind of help expand this and make it a little more complete set. So starting off with this is a Life Straw. So what this is basically a personal water filter that can be used in emergencies. You can basically, according to the packaging, you can drink from any kind of water source, and it filters out 99.999% of the bacteria and whatever is bad. So I got this to add to my kind of, emergency gear, first aid gear, stuff that I would have with me if, I had to hike out, or if I was gonna have to walk somewhere. Just good to have. Next up is a proper tire patch kit. And this is a basic, Smitty built case, but this one is a lot more beefy than the one I used to have. So inside you've got some pretty legit tools in here, heavy duty, and then it comes with all kinds of different patches and even some extra valve stems, valve stem removers, pair of pliers, just odds and ends that really could be used in tire repair. Now I can't really do a valve stem repair because I have no way of getting the rim remounted, but a little bit of a difference between this cheap Harbor Freight one and this Smitty built one, but probably just keep carrying both. That way I continue to have options when I'm out on the trail. Next up is this. This is a Snatch Block for my winch, and what this does is this allows me to hook up to a tree or another vehicle, and allows me to use my winch at kind of a weird angle. Or I could do a double line pull and basically reroute the winch back to my Jeep, and then I'd have pulling power off my own winch for my own vehicle. So this is pretty cool. Again, not something I'm probably gonna need much, but because I have a winch now, it was definitely something that I wanted to get. That way it helps to add to the winch arsenal. And then next up, I got a basic toolkit. Now this isn't anything fancy, not really expensive, but on the inside, some items have shifted around. Just some basic stuff, you got some sockets, got some wrenches, got some pliers. So just kind of some odds and ends for those oddball, repairs. If I need to fix something on the tent, something minor on the vehicle, I have now some actual tools in addition to the tire changing stuff that I already carried. Before getting this, the only really extra tool that I did carry in addition to my tire changing stuff was this. This is a wrench that came with my tent. It's used to tighten down the bolts and whatnot on the roof. But it is nice having this as a backup. Now I can hopefully do maybe some more repairs. It's one of those things I don't know until I actually come across a time when I'm going to use it. So the last piece of new gear I have is the winch line dampener. And what this does is it goes over your winch line like so, and it just provides weight so that if your winch ever breaks, the cable breaks, this is going to fall down to the ground and prevent any kind of, you know, bad recoil, hit somebody, hit a windshield, do some serious damage. So this is just some basic stuff. It's nice to have. It also doubles as a nice high visibility safety vest. I think that was kind of an unintended byproduct, but that's basically it. So got some winching stuff to add to my new winch. Got some basic tools in the tire patch kit and the tool set, in addition to all the normal stuff I carry. So anyways, hopefully this video was helpful. I just wanted to get everything out and show you what I had and some of the new stuff that I have gotten since the last video. Again, this is stuff that all comes with me on all of my trips, and it's not a complete collection. It is gonna continue to grow as I continue to travel, but in my opinion, this is kind of the basic stuff I need for different situations. Obviously, you can't plan for every emergency, but I think the gear I have here is a pretty good place to start. I do still want to continue to expand it. The jack is one thing I want to really look at. I know a lot of people carry floor jacks, carry upgraded bottle jacks, so I will be doing something in the near future with that. But what do you think? What else should I add? What do you guys carry on your trips that's invaluable? I'm really curious to hear your opinions on the whole recovery emergency gear situation. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed kind of running through some of this stuff. I might do more videos like this in the future on different topics related to camping and jeeping and stuff, but I felt like this was a good place to start. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.